What's going on, friends and family? What is today? July 6th. Hey, July is rocking and rolling already. July 6th, 2025. We are back with another live show, and I got a lot to cover today. We're going to talk about Pepper Pong, which is the interview of the week. This is actually a Shark Tank company. I was able to interview Tom from Pepper Pong, and so we're going to play a highlight or a clip of that interview. Amazon has a rival or a show that's in competition with Shark Tank. So this is an interesting show that we'll talk about. It's called Buy It Now. We will get off into that. Deep fakes. It seems like Denmark, which is in Europe, has kind of came up with a solution to these deep fakes that you have seen going on. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Seattle, seems like a coffee company in Seattle was sued by Nestle for trademark infringement. We'll talk a little bit about that. Then an interview of the lawsuit of the week is Five and Below was sued for selling sunscreen by, I think, Supergoop, I think is the name of the company. So we'll pull up that lawsuit, go through it in real time. I'll give you guys my thoughts of, as being a 10-year intellectual property attorney that has been dealing with this for a while. And yeah, man, it should be a fun one. I do want to kind of kick off the show with I don't want to say a story, but with an experience that I had just yesterday, actually, and kind of talking about the importance of intellectual property. And as I'm kind of talking about this story, please hit that subscribe button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit that, hit the subscribe button and be a part of the IP community, as well as hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I was at, let's just call it a family reunion yesterday, and man, it was a great time. Shouts out to the fam. Everybody watches the show, so that's cool. And it was a lady, let's just say, who was kind of essentially, it was like a mobile bar. So she was like the bartender or whatever the case may be. And she had a cool name. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to kind of put it out there, but she had a really cool name. And man, everybody know me at this point. They know me. I am the IP guy in the family. So when I go to these shows, actually, and I'll plug the shirt, Peace, Love, Intellectual Property, go check out that. That link is in the description to be able to pick up the shirt. And I wear these shirts to the actually reunion as well. So I wore my shirt to the reunion, and I'm talking to her. I'm like, hey man, you need to trademark that name. She's like, yeah, I'm looking, I'm trying to, but it costs a lot. So I'm trying to figure it out. And I actually just gave her a card and said, hey man, just give me a call and we'll figure it out. And again, she was an African-American lady. And I'm not sure if this, I'll probably say it does kind of mean something kind of based on what I'm about to say. But man, especially in the African-American community, we have to take our intellectual property a little bit more serious. Again, I understand that if you're talking about patents, because patents can be expensive, and that's kind of my bread and butter. When I spend a lot of time doing patents day in and day out, you're talking about 6, 7, 8, 9, in some cases $10,000 per application. So I understand that stuff can be expensive, but if you can't scrape up $1,000 to file for a trademark applications, yet you're trying to have a successful business, I'm kind of questioning your ability to, number one, have a successful business, but number two, how serious are you about business if you can't even protect your brand name? Because at a very base level, everything that we do, I got this sunscreen here. We're going to use it when we talk about the Supergoop. You have Sun Bum, that's a trademark name. I have my water here, Topo Chico, that's a trademark name. I got the Carmex. Hey, Carmex, that's a trademark name. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but again, that's a trademark name. At a very base level, you're going to need to protect your brand, whether you're selling a good or a service, via a trademark. And if you can't scrape up $1,000 to go see a patent attorney to file for a trademark protection, and you're trying to have a successful business, like I said, I question how serious you are about business, but also about just having a successful business. Because at a base level, if you can't scrape up $1,000 to have something that's going to protect your brand, that's going to be kind of identification for others to say, hey man, let's go and let's get such and such with what's her name to come do our bartending because she's really good. If you can't do that, then to me, in my opinion, I'm not sure how serious you are about business. So again, shouts out to the lady. I'm not going to say her name, but we'll definitely get on the phone and I'll try to do my best to help her out. But we need, particularly in the African-American community, we need to protect our intellectual property, trademarks, patents, copyrights. Again, I got a couple trademarks that are in the works. I got some copyrights that I own. I'm in a process of a trade secret on this algorithm that I'm super excited about. And I got a patent coming up. So, or a product that I'm looking to get patented. So I'm doing it by y'all. And I'm trying to really show by example, not just talk as a practitioner, as somebody who interviews these people, but I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is and actually do this stuff myself just to show you guys that you can do it too. I actually had a guy who I interviewed like 6 or 7 months ago, maybe 8 months ago. And he's crushing it on Amazon. And again, white guy, and we did the interview and I've stayed in contact, which I try to do with a lot of the guests I have on the show. And he just hit me up yesterday like, hey, man, can I retain you for going after this person or not going after this person? Somebody's trying to come after him for patent infringement. He was like, hey, can I retain you to help me out with this? So again, other groups, other cultures know how important this intellectual property is. And they're willing to protect their stuff at all costs because they know it's feeding their family, it's making them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And especially us in the African-American community, we need to follow suit with that. So, and that's my kind of soliloquy or my rant for the day. But no, again, man, this intellectual property stuff is extremely valuable. And if you can't spend $1,000 or scrape up $1,000 to file for a trademark on your name, yet you're trying to have a successful and a thriving business, I'm not sure if those two go together. So kind of those my 2 cents on that. Let's kind of move on here to Buy It Now. Now, this is a cool show that Amazon has put on, which in my opinion rivals Shark Tank. Obviously, we know Shark Tank has been around for what? Almost 20 seasons. I think 16, 17 seasons now. They've been crushing it for a long time. I think they're on Hulu as well as maybe ABC or whatever the case may be. And they are only on for like 20 episodes a season. And it seems like Buy It Now, which is a show on Amazon, which I think is going to gain some traction, in my opinion, long term. I hadn't heard from it. I kind of stumbled upon it. Really, I stumbled upon it because somebody who I interviewed on this platform, they actually was on episode 2 of Buy It Now. I'm like, this is an interesting show. So I actually kind of doing a little bit more research, digging deep in it, watch some episodes. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I have to start, especially in the off season when Shark Tank is not on, start kind of doing these breakdowns on this. It's a different format. So obviously, Shark Tank, you have the 5 sharks and and the guests are trying to pitch to the 5 sharks in order to get a deal. This show is a little different. You see the 3 guest sharks here. It seems like the guy, Jamie, who invented Ring, which was a Shark Tank product, and he sold it for Amazon for like over $1 billion or something like that. He's pretty much a staple. And then they have like two other guests on it, 2 panelists. And JB Smooth, shout out to JB Smooth. He's the host of the show. So it's almost like a game show kind of, but it's dealing with products. So it's kind of right up my alley being an intellectual property attorney. So, but this show is different in that, like I said, number one, they're not trying to get a deal with the actual panelists. They're trying to get into, I guess, this Buy It Now shop on Amazon. So Amazon is leveraging their visibility, their platform, such that these guests could potentially get on to the Buy It Now shop, sell it, and have their product or whatever the case may be broadcast over millions of people, and kind of hopefully get a uptick in their sales. And then I think it was like $20,000 that to the extent that they get on a Buy It Now shop, they qualify to be able to win $20,000. And the pretty cool thing is this actually has a live audience. So this is not like I said, Shark Tank is just the 5 guests, but this show actually has a live audience. So it's 100 people in the audience. And as the guests are pitching their product, it's like a 90-second pitch. The audience members can select green to saying that they will buy the product, or they can select red to show that they are not going to buy the product. And to the extent that the guest gets 10 green, essentially green marks saying that people will buy the product, then they go to the panelists. If they get 2/3 of the panelists that kind of give them a thumbs up, then they are on Amazon shop. So for those of you who just joining us, I'm talking about Buy It Now, which is owned by Amazon, and it's like a rival to essentially Shark Tank. So I think based on the episode 1, season 1, the first episode, it was a CPR, and she was cool, man. Felicia, I actually had a girlfriend named Felicia. This Felicia is from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and she's She's from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and she has kind of created this CPR rap, I think is what she called it. And she got a patent on that rap. And she actually was saying on the show that, hey, they offered her $1.2 million to get 80% of the company, but she turned it down. And again, I think she was in healthcare, had no experience on business, quit healthcare. I think her and her husband invested $20,000 in his CPR rap. to help you out with CPR if you're like choking or whatever the case may be. And again, not only did they get a deal or they got to get on Buy It Now, the Amazon shop, but again, she was talking about on a show that somebody offered her over like $1.2 million for her business. And again, she turned it down for at least for 80% of the business, I think. So she turned it down. She's doing good. I think this show is going to be something to be reckoned with. So I'm going to continue to kind of bring it live to you guys and yeah, kind of go from there. So be on the lookout for more of those breakdowns with Buy It Now that is owned by Amazon. As we move on here to the interview of the week, Pepper Pong, Tom Filippini. Man, this is pretty cool. Let me kind of bring it up.
My addiction
Pepper
was
Pong
not the
here.
good kind of addiction. I was battling.
This gentleman, he actually, and I'm gonna let him tell his story, and I'm gonna kind of give you guys my thoughts on it. So let's fire this up. Tom Filippini with Pepper Pong. Let me make sure this is on normal speed. I know a lot of times I watch this stuff on 2X. And he did get a deal with the owner of Raising Cane's. So Tom Filippini, he was on Shark Tank. I was able to interview him like a month or so ago. He got a deal. I forget the gentleman who founded Raising Cane's, but Tom Filippini, Pepper Pong, he did get a deal with that gentleman. So let's see about his story, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more of my thoughts. Let's go.
Alcoholism, and what I found was I've got a story of addiction, and my addiction was not the good kind of addiction. I was battling alcoholism, and what I found was people became addicted to our homegrown game in the most healthy way possible. Yeah. And at some point it just hit me like, this is actually a great way to connect people in a physical setting where they put their phone down. Anybody can play, like grandmothers can play grandkids. And I realized there's nothing else like that. You know, there's no other game. If you look at spike ball or, you know, badminton, doesn't matter what it is, like there is some impediment to somebody playing it. And there's no impediment to anyone playing and having fun with Pepper Pong. So I felt like it needed to be in more hands. And so we ended up commercializing it.
So shouts out to Tom. He got a deal with Todd Graves, who invented or founded the chicken place Raising Cane's. And I think one just opened up here in Michigan, but I'm out in Chicago a lot, and I do hit up Raising Cane's. And I mean, it's a good, pretty good chicken finger. So, but again, Tom's story is amazing, man. This guy, he was successful in his own right, and kind of fell into alcoholism, which he talked about, and kind of support family, kids, whatever the case may be. He invented this game called Pepper Pong, which is almost like a revive of ping pong, but it's better in that you can kind of set it up anywhere. I know kind of back in the day, man, I used to always go to my buddy's house and they had ping pong, but you got the big table that you fold up and down. It's obviously you're not kind of having a travel ping pong, but Pepper Pong. And he talked about in this video how the craziest place he played Pepper Pong was in a plane. He kind of set up shop on an airplane as they were in the air, and him and his daughter was playing Pepper Pong, even though the stewardess told him not to. So again, it's just a little, I mean, I don't know, it's like a plastic net. You got these different balls that kind of is based on the spice levels that you kind of hit back and forth, and depending on kind of how good or not good you are, you can pick the ball accordingly. And he's crushing it, man. He got a deal with Todd Graves, the founder of Raising Cane's, on Shark Tank. He was on this past season of Shark Tank. So shout out to Tom. Go check out that interview, man, because that interview was pretty cool with Tom of Pepper Pong. And again, I know some of you guys were just joining me, but obviously, you know, the name Pepper Pong is a trademark term. And again, he trademarked it. I was telling the story at the beginning of this live where I was at a family event yesterday, and there was a bartender who was talking. I mean, she had a cool name for her bartending kind of company, and she didn't have a trademark. And I'm like, why you don't got a trademark? And she said, hey, man, it's too expensive. It costs a lot. And I gave her my card, like, hey, man, just give me a call and we'll figure it out. But if you can't scrape up $1,000 to trademark the name of your business, then for me, I'm kind of doubting how serious you are about business. So obviously, Tom Pepper Pong, not only does he have a trademark on the term Pepper Pong, but he also has a patent on that. So shout out to Todd as we go off into the next subject. This is a pretty interesting one, man. So deep fakes. We're talking about deep fakes here. I had kind of broke this down a little bit more in detail earlier in the week, so I'm not going to talk about it in that much detail. But essentially, a deep fake is when you see a video that's created by artificial intelligence and it's it essentially looks like the real thing. So without somebody telling you it's a deep fake and artificial intelligence created this, you would think that this was a video that a person created themselves. So for example, if I'm kind of talking on a live and then a deep fake is essentially making, kind of reproducing that same thing, again, man, this artificial intelligence stuff is getting crazy. So what Denmark did, they are, to tackle the deep fakes, they're giving their citizens copyright to their name or their image as well as their voices, which is interesting because here in the US, obviously an image is kind of similar to like NIL, name, image, and likeness. And we all have the ability to kind of protect our NIL, our images. I know you hear a lot about it with the athletes, student athletes, whatever the case may be, entertainers, but average people, we can't protect our NIL similarly to those athletes or whatever the case may be. So that's number one. But then number two, and more importantly, typically here in the US, you cannot protect your voice unless it's widely known. So a lot of times that's going to apply to entertainers. That's going to apply to actors. If you have a widely known voice, then you can protect that by way of, right to publicity is the name we call it here in the US. However, in Denmark, they are giving their citizens automatic copyright protection on their images as well as their voices to combat this deepfake epidemic that's going to continue to grow. And they're going to be interesting to see. So if they see something on the internet, a video that's being made with their image, with their voice, and it hasn't been authorized by them, then they can submit a copyright claim to the government and they will get that taken down. So I'm not sure if the US is going to follow suit. Like I said, NIL is kind of protected, or your image here in the US is protected with the NIL. However, with the voices, that's particularly not protected unless it's widely known. And again, a lot of times that applies to actors as well as what's the name. So again, shouts out to Denmark for that. And again, we'll see. I'm hoping and praying that US kind of does something similar because hey man, it's artificial intelligence, and we are essentially we're in a race to the end, to the finish line. We're in a race to our own detriment. And let's have a good time while we're doing it. So let's kind of move on here. And this is another cool one that I kind of had in a little bit more detail earlier on in the week. This is a Seattle company. And again, I don't want to keep harping on this as I try to find this video. I don't want to keep harping on this because I talked about it earlier. But one thing in the African-American community, I know some of you are just joining us. For whatever reason, we don't want to protect our intellectual property, but we be the first to talk about, hey, somebody else copied or stole my invention. Somebody else stole the name to my business. We're quick to say that somebody else did us wrong. However, a lot of times we're not taking steps to protect our own, essentially our own intellectual property. So this is a startup coffee company in Seattle. Who knew that Seattle was the largest state that's dealing with coffee? And it seems like Nestle, who knew that Nestle was even into coffee? I know Nestle for like chocolate bars and stuff, but it seems like Nestle were suing Seattle Strong for trademark infringement. And a gentleman who actually, I'm gonna play the video from this news clip here in a second, but the gentleman who created or started Seattle Strong, the coffee company in Seattle, he started this thing in college, in his dorm rooms. And next thing you know, he has a legit company. I think they're in like 350 stores over there on the West Coast. So I know we have some people on the West Coast here. So let me know if you guys heard of Seattle Strong. Let's check out this interview. Let's check out this clip from the news article, and then I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section. Let's go.
All right. Well, a legal battle is brewing between a small, locally owned coffee company and a massive multinational business. Nestle is pressuring Seattle Strong Coffee Company to drop its trademark name. The owner spoke with Fox 13 reporter Nia Wong, saying they're not letting the Swiss conglomerate steamroll their Seattle-based coffee brand.
In the heart of America's coffee capital,
we're, true Seattle coffee.
Evan Aflin spends his days canning up cold brew.
We're roasted in Seattle. We're brewed in Seattle. Everything is actually done in Seattle.
Since founding Seattle Strong Coffee Company for a class project at the University of Washington back in 2017.
We are in probably about 350 grocery stores.
Hey, that's legit. This guy has built a company when he was at the University of Washington, and now he's in 350 grocery stores. I'm telling y'all, the earlier that y'all can build y'all businesses, and I was at my family event yesterday. They know me as the IP guy. So everybody's coming up to me I got the shirt on. They asked me about trademarks. The cool thing about this, at this point, I don't even have to go tell people about IP. They're coming up to me asking questions. And one guy, he had this crazy good idea, and he's trying to execute. He's trying to get on it, asking me for my opinion. I'm giving him advice. So again, man, start that business sooner rather than later. You won't be sorry for that. This guy started in his dorm room, and now he's 350 stores out on the West Coast.
In the Pacific Northwest.
But Aflin's small American business is up against a major European competitor.
You trade on the Seattle name in coffee, you can't prevent others from trading on the name of Seattle.
In this petition filed by Nestle back in April, the multinational company is trying to get Seattle Strong to drop its name, saying Seattle Strong is too similar to their product.
So let's read this. And again, I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. Do you think this is trademark infringement? And this is why I named this show Good Old Competition, because we have to understand the difference between competition and cheating. We're in America, we built on more or less, for the most part, competition. We love competition. I come from a sports background. You see the jersey in the background, and I love competition. Now, I don't like cheating, but again, I'm for competition. Let's kind of read this paragraph 15, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments, do you think this is trademark infringement, or do you think Nestle is they're stretching with this one? So respondents, which is the local coffee company, Seattle Strong, they have a trademark on Seattle Strong. It's similar to Nestle's prior used and registered Seattle Best. So Nestle, which they bought this trademark from Starbucks, they bought the Seattle's Best trademark from Starbucks, and essentially they're trying to say Seattle Strong is confusingly similar. Now, me personally, I think that's a stretch. I don't think Seattle Strong and Seattle Best is similar at all outside of Seattle. Best and Strong are two different. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let's continue on here. And the goods covered by Nestle, Seattle's Best mark, and respondent Seattle Strong mark are identical. I would agree with that they're both dealing with coffee, such that consumers will likely be confused, mistaken, or deceived as to the source of the parties' respective goods and services. Now, I don't think consumers would be confused. If I had looked at Nestle's Seattle Best mark and I looked at the local company Seattle Strong mark, I wouldn't think that those two companies are essentially the same. These marks are definitely different in my opinion, but I would love to get you guys take after we finish off this news clip. Let's go.
Seattle's Best coffee, which Nestle bought from Starbucks several years ago. It claims consumers will likely be confused, mistaken, or deceived.
And the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office says we earned Seattle Strong, and we want to keep it. We're not going to just roll over because they want us to.
Seattle Strong responded to Nestle's petition, accusing the Swiss company of trying to, quote, bully a small local coffee company from Seattle. Nestle has not responded to Fox 13's request for comment.
I think it's ridiculous. I think they want to crush us before we can get there and really compete with them.
Nestle owns more than 2,000 brands around the world.
We're going to stand strong, but we definitely would appreciate the support of Seattle.
In Seattle, Nia Wong, Fox 13 News.
I don't think any reasonable person would confuse those two names at all. So I think they're going to win this in court. No problem. We'll follow up and find out what happens.
I agree with you on that one, buddy. I think the local company Seattle Strong has a good argument, but we'll see what happens in court. I've seen crazier things happen. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Do you think Nestle is stretching on this one? Me personally, as somebody who's been seeing this and doing this for over 10 years, I think they are stretching. But if you think that Seattle Strong, Seattle Best, it is a likelihood of confusion, let me know that. Let me know that as well in the comment section. And again, I'll be interested in hearing from you guys. Let's move on here. Let's move on to Shein. It seems like, man, every couple months, Shein is going to be in the news for being sued in some form of fashion for copyright infringement. Let's kind of take a little bit more of a deep dive at this one. So the article is Brandy Melville, which I'm assuming is a company, sued Shein for copyright infringement as well as unfair competition. Seems like this is the store of Brandy Melville, which is in South Beach. And I'll tell you what, it's so many clothing companies. A lot of these clothing companies, I think I was kind of scanning this one. They've been around since 1980. And I've never heard of this company. So it seems like the left here is a Boston shirt that is owned by Brandy Melville. And it seems like to the right is a shirt that's sold by Shein that has the name Boston on it. Essentially what Brandy Melville is trying to say is, and again, I do think that Shein is doing this at this point. I think what Shein is doing is they have this algorithm, this system that's essentially, and this was being alleged in a lawsuit as well, that they are seeing what's trendy out there. And I think that the algorithm, the network that Shein has, I wouldn't be surprised if this is true. And again, based on the things that's trendy, they're essentially creating those garments and selling them out to the people. And again, this is essentially what Brandy Melville is alleging in the lawsuit. That, again, you see this shirt. Let me put it back up here for you guys. Seems like they're saying that, hey, this shirt, Boston to the left, was originally put out there by Brandy Melville. However, Shein has recreated it based on its popularity and is selling it as well for a fraction of the cost, I might add. And that kind of essentially is copyright infringement. So, and I was telling this to somebody yesterday, where copyright infringement, you got a copyright on something as soon as you fix it in a tangible medium. So as soon as you create that book, as soon as you kind of create those lyrics or that song, or as soon as you create that movie, you kind of put it on a camcorder or your iPhone or whatever the case may be, or as soon as you kind of create a shirt, you have a copyright in that already. However, to sue somebody for copyright infringement, you have to register that copyright with the Copyright Office. Now, the good thing and the good thing about copyrights is you have a copyright the moment you fix it in a tangible medium. The bad thing about copyrights is the strength of that copyright is going to be evaluated when you're in court. And I don't know. My question is, and I want you guys to answer this in the chat. Do you think that having a shirt that says Boston on it is a strong copyright or it's a weak copyright? I will say that anytime you copy something identical, that's never good. When you copy the same font, when you copy how things are shown, that's never good in my opinion. However, do you think that this shirt, which to the left is Brandy Melville, do you think that shirt should have a strong protection on it, a strong copyright protection? You're just plastering the term Boston on the shirt. I guess the style and the font or whatever the case may be is kind of unique to you. And again, it seems like Shein has copied the actual exact thing, which is never a good thing. But do you think that Brandy Melville is going to have strong copyright protection on this? That's the thing that you have to be thinking about. Because again, the good thing about copyright is you don't have to, it's not evaluated. Trademarks are examined, patents are examined, copyrights are not examined, at least on the front end. Once you get to court, the judge is going to look at it, the jury is going to look at it, and they're going to decide what aspects of that copyright, if any, are protectable. And I don't know, man. I think this is a very weak copyright in my opinion, because it's just the term Boston on the shirt. Nothing specific about it, nothing I guess special about it. However, it does look, just by looking at these photos here on the screen, it does look like Shein has copied this thing verbatim. Anytime you copy a verbatim, that's never a good thing. However, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how strong that copyright is. And I would tend to agree with you, Brandon, on this one. I think it's a weak copyright. That's one of the things that you have to kind of really understand or make sure you're thinking through with copyright, is because it doesn't get examined on the front end. But you better believe if you sue somebody for copyright infringement, the judge or jury is going to examine it on the back end. I just think this is a weak copyright. And I would definitely agree with Brandon on that. However, let's see what happens when they go to court. To be honest, I think this thing is going to settle out. But again, Shein, as always, it seems like they're getting sued every couple months for copyright infringement, kind of based on how they allegedly kind of do their business. I'm not trying to get sued by Shein, so I will say allegedly, but enough people that sue Shein that I think that, again, where there's smoke is fire. I'll just leave it at that. And kind of as we go to the last but not least, the lawsuit of the week, Five Below. Now, you guys have to let me know, have you ever seen Five Below? It's actually one. It was a Rite Aid around the corner from me. I'm in the Detroit metro area, and about a month ago, I kind of noticed a sign that seems like Rite Aid or Walgreens or whatever went out of business. The building was vacant for a while, but now it looks like they're putting a Five Below in there. And apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't shop at Five Below, but it seems like everything in there is $5 or below. I'm not sure if that's what Five Below means, but kind of let me know if I am off on that as we kind of get off to the lawsuit of the week. Seems like, let me pull up the this over sunscreen. And I got my daughter, I got a 7-year-old daughter, and she has, I get her this sunscreen. She's in summer camp, man. So, she got Sunbum. So this is going to be some kind of free shout out to Sunbum. I kind of like it. But again, I think this is going to come in handy as we going through this, because I think this lawsuit is over sunscreen. So I do think this is going to be interesting as we get off into it. Let's pull it up here. Supergoop is the name of the actual company that has a sunscreen that's suing Five Below, as well as I think World LLC. Let's go through this one really quickly and get you guys up out of here. I'm going to skip that section. Introduction. For 20 years, Supergoop has been changing the way the world thinks about sunscreen. As an innovative market disruptor, Supergoop is on a mission to incorporate the daily use of SPF into all human lives. I'm not sure what SPF is. And really, they probably should have, since this is an acronym, they probably should have kind of spelled it out and then put the acronym in parentheses. Maybe they did it earlier, but I'm not sure what SPF is. Anyway, let me know if somebody know what SPF is in the chat. Let's see here. Okay, Five Below. So it seems like I was Five Below. Okay, now Kim. Okay, it seems like Brandon has answered that question. Five Below is like a dollar store on steroids. Does everything in a store, everything in the store is $5 below? Because they just opened one up. And if y'all telling me it's good, I may go shop for my daughter there. Because I'm hood rich. I go to Myers or Target. I get my daughter like 3-4 pairs of Skechers. She's happy, I'm happy, and everything is good. I'm not at the point where I'm buying Jordans and Nikes and stuff like that for kids, especially a 7-year-old. Let's see what Kim says. They have things. Okay. So it seems like inflation has got us all. I think I was in Dollar Tree a while ago, and they have some stuff that's over $1. Obviously, we know Family Dollar and Dollar General, they've been selling stuff for over $1 for a while now. So it seems like inflation has also caught up with Five Below. So it seems like Five Below is getting sued in this case, and I'm interested in what you guys think about this one, because I do think that again, it's competition. It's a difference between competition, just good old-fashioned competition, and somebody cheating. A lot of times when you're talking about infringement, whether it's patent infringement, trademark infringement, copyright infringement, that's like, okay, you guys went too far. This is no longer competition, but now you guys went too far and you're cheating. I don't think, similar to the one that we did with Nestle, which I did not think was infringement. The one I think with the clothing company, Brandy Melville, I don't think that was copyright infringement. These are just my opinions on this one. It seems like Brandon has provided some additional context. The higher the SPF number means the greater the protection. So let me ask you this. So this one I got for my daughter, she's like my complexion, is 50. So is 50 a good number, SPF number, or did I get the wrong one? Did I get the right one? Mine is 50. Mine says 50. I'm assuming that's what that is. So you have, and just think of this format. You have the trademark name. Seems like they have a trademark logo as well. This is an indicator that this is for kids. And then it seems like, according to Brandon, this is the SPF number right here, which means the strength of the protection. I'm not sure if I got the right strength of protection. It's 50. She's about my complexion. So we'll see as we go through here. I'm curious to see what you guys think about this one. I think this one can be shaky at best. Let's go here. Supergoop was founded with the goal of changing the world after the founder, close friend, was diagnosed with skin cancer at 29. That's crazy. I'm telling y'all, most of these products, most of these businesses, especially these startups, are founded because somebody has gone through a particular situation in their life, and therefore it inspires them to create a business. So it seems like the founder going through, or the close friend of the founder, was diagnosed with skin cancer at the age of 29. At the time, sunscreen products on the market were generally thick, chalky, undesirable for regular use, and marketed seasonally. The combination of statistics showing the staggering prevalence of skin cancer, the research showing that incremental sun exposure over the course of a lifetime constitutes the primary cause of skin cancer. Miraculously, ability for SPF lotions to prevent such a deadly disease and shortcomings of the sunscreen market at the time led for the founder to create a sunscreen product for everyday use. So it seems like Supergoop can be used every day. In 2005, so about 20 years ago, Supergoop was born. Supergoop mission is to driven approach to SPF product development has changed the sunscreen, cosmetics, and skincare industries. And let me know if you guys have used Supergoop before. Since 2005, Supergoop has continuously the Supergoop house mark. So it seems like they have a number of different trademarks, which you see here. This is Supergoop. So it seems like they have a couple different. You have the glow screen to the left. You have the daily dose, which is in the middle. And then it looks like this is a unseen sunscreen stick. So it's a sunscreen stick in a on the far right. Got the yellow top, got a white bottle. Again, the middle one, kind of a yellow upper portion, got the white bottle, and then the stick also has a yellow top. Seems like it's a kind of a see-through or a clear bottle. Keep that in mind. I want you guys to keep, because this is actually more of a trade dress. We talked about trade dress last week. I think this is another trade dress case. Since the launch in 2005, Supergoop has continuously used its Supergoop name, Supergoop trade dress, and Supergoop logo nationwide to identify an ever-expanding line of high-quality SPF skin care and cosmetic products. As a result of Supergoop's decades of use and promotion in a trade dress, Supergoop named throughout the U.S. along with its extensive commercial success and consumer and industry recognition, the Supergoop trade dress, and Supergoop logo have become strong, well-known symbols to the consumer public of popular SPF skin care and cosmetic products. On information and belief about 2025, so this was just a couple months ago, Five Below. Again, shout out to what Kim was saying. It seemed, I think Brandon was saying that Five Below was a dollar store on steroids. Seems like they have taken there. I thought it was just a clothing store, but apparently they are selling skincare products or sunscreen there as well. So it seems like in 2005, at least according to the lawsuit, Five Below began selling nationwide at Five Below retail stores a line of copycat sunscreen products under the mark Sugar Girl. Now, clearly, Sugar Girl and Supergoop are two different. So I don't think this is a trademark infringement lawsuit. It's a trade dress infringement lawsuit, as I'll bring it back on myself for a little bit. And just understand that trade dress is a subset of trademark. Trademark goes after the logo, goes after the name, goes after the phrase. However, trade dress is going after the dress of it, the overall look and feel of it. So you think of that Coca-Cola bottle shape, that's an example of trade dress protection. You know, some restaurants that you go into, they got a theme that stands out. That'll be an example of trade dress protection as well. It seems like Supergoop, according to what they're trying to say that their bottles, as we see here, are protected by a trade dress. Now, I think this is interesting. I'm not sure how many bottles I have seen that has a yellow top and that has a white bottle, but it seems like that's pretty standard in the bottle industry. Let me know if you guys agree with me on that, but it seems like this is a pretty standard thing in the bottle industry. A yellow cap and a white bottle. Obviously, we know Sugar Girl, which is, as we go down here, Sugar Girl, which is Five Below sunscreen. That's completely different from Supergoop. However, it seems like trade dress is what is at hand here. So trade dress in ways clearly designed to generate a market for Five Below's product that would not otherwise exist and to cause consumer confusion. Five Below has copied Supergroup's registered glow screen product name and market by identifying its directly competing product by the confusingly similar name and mark glow face screen. And that's weird. The copycat Sugar Girl infringing trade dress goes so far as to mimic the font in which Supergroup product names are represented. Supergroup's selective use of the iridescent ink for various of its product names and the inclusion of the brief product descriptors presented in all caps in a smaller font located directly below the product names. So this is Sugar Girl. This is Five Below mark. Now again, a yellow top, a white bottle. I think that's pretty standard in my opinion. Let me know if you guys agree with me. Sugar Girl and Supergoop, again, those are different. It seems like what Sugar Girl is saying is, hey, they have glow screen and Five Below has glowy face sunscreen. They have unseen sunscreen stick. Man, look, I think this is a weak lawsuit, man. Let me know what you guys think. I just think this is a weak lawsuit. These are the trade dress that Supergoop is saying that Five Below is copying. This is Five Below trade dress in their mark. Sugar Girl is definitely different from Super Good, or what is it called again? Let me go up top. Supergoop. The names are definitely different. If you're telling me you're on a hook for a trade dress infringement by having a yellow cap and a white bottle, hey, line them up, in my opinion. And yeah, Yeah, I mean, I just think this is a weak lawsuit in my opinion, but let's continue on here. Defendants, so 5 below imitations of Supergoop, trade dress, and Supergoop logo are designed to and are likely to cause consumer confusion regarding the source, association, connection, affiliation of the parties respect to the product. Again, they don't use Supergoop. They say Sugar Girl. Sugar Girl and Supergoop are two different things in my opinion. Supergoop has invested considerable creative and financial resources and has spent decades building its renowned Supergoop brand, at the center of which is Supergoop logo and trade dress. 5 below imitations of Supergoop's iconic Supergoop logo and trade dress has and will, unless enjoined, irreparably damage Supergoop. Like I said, I think that's a stretch. We're going to skip the jurisdiction, the venue, and the parties. Let's go to, I'm going to skip this because we already kind of read that. So let's see what they're saying is copied by trade dress. At the heart of Supergoop's skin protecting philosophy and its brand in its iconic and well-recognized origin or original and distinctive Supergoop logo and Supergoop trade dress, which Supergoop has used in commerce for 2 decades, the Supergoop trade dress includes the following. The Supergoop logo represented in the color blue. Again, they have Sugar Girl. They don't have Supergoop, so I think number 1 is weak. Let's go to number 2. Outer packaging, which depicts an inner packaging, which features a white tube or bottle displaying the Supergoop logo in the upper portion of the product. Again, they don't use Supergoop. When I say they, 5 below does not use Supergoop, and having a white bottle, I mean, again, that's 99% of pretty much all companies. So I think number 2 is weak. Let's go to number 3. The product name depicted in all caps centered directly below the Supergoop logo. The product name depicted. Maybe 3 is kind of up for debate, but I still think that's weak. CC screen, glow screen, unseen sunscreen stick, and then, yeah, I think that's a weak one, number 3, but we can at least have a conversation about it. Let's go to number 4. A product descriptor in small font directly below the product name. Every product is going to have a descriptor. You're not going to have just your brand name without telling people what the thing is. So I think that's weak. And then 5, the SPF number depicted with the circular design below the product name, a contrasting yellow cap. Again, let me bring it back up on. I'm gonna read this as I point to my daughter's sunscreen. You have the name right here. You have the SPF number below it. You have a yellow cap. Now, obviously, this one doesn't have a white bottle, but again, you're not going to protect a white bottle. So again, this even is similar, in my opinion, to what Supergoop is trying to say they have trade dress protection for. Then was 7, the colors blue, white, yellow as a takeaway commercial impression. So it seems like they're trying to protect the color blue, white, and yellow. So that's pretty much it here. Let's kind of read a little bit more. A disruptor in the sunscreen and cosmetic industry. I didn't realize that Supergoop had cosmetic stuff as well. Let me know in the comments if you guys have kind of used some of the cosmetic stuff. Supergoop's line of products has made waves in the market for nearly 2 decades. Man, anytime you had a company that's been in the game for 2 decades, you are on to something. As a result of Supergoop's regular product innovations and new offerings under the Supergoop family of sunscreens, cosmetics, and skincare products, so it seems like they got some skincare products as well, customers have grown accustomed to encountering the Supergoop logo in various trade dresses. Again, Sugar Girl and Supergoop is 2 different things. I think the trade dress is kind of weak in my opinion as well. Let's go to 29 here, paragraph 29. Supergoop distinctive, non-functional source identifying Supergoop trade dress is recognizable and widely recognized. The Supergoop trade dress indicates to consumers that they are purchasing an SPF skincare cosmetic product of the highest quality with Supergoop. Yeah, man, I just think this is a stretch. Let's see what the famous registered Supergoop logos. We already kind of went through that. Seems like these are a little bit more some pictures. Collaborated with HBO's cult favorite TV earlier this year. She's a cutie. Seems like they was on Vivo, April 2024. So last year in April, Sabrina Carpenter, an American singer-songwriter, featured in Supergoop's product. So it seemed like they did a commercial with Sabrina. Sabrina, man, she looks straight. She definitely oiled up in that suntan. Let's see here. It seems like they have another one. Supergoop was sponsored in New York City's 2024, the Governor's Ball, the largest multi-day. So it seems like they essentially, damn, they got a a Supergoop stand. Let me know if y'all went to the Governor's Ball in NYC last year or this year for that matter. So it seems like they have some marketing and advertisement. It seems like Minion. They also had this Minion theme, it seems like. That's pretty cool. What is this? Also in 2022, Supergoop collaborated with Amazon popular TV series The Summer One, The Summer I Turned Pretty. So it seems like they did some stuff with Amazon. This is obviously I like the Sunshine Shack. I think that's a pretty cool name. What was this at? This was again in spring 2022, the Soho House. Sephora's Instagram reel seems like they have some celebrities promoting it. I'm not sure who this is. Seems like you got 17 million views. That's crazy. So they got a lot of what's the name? Let's get down to what they think is going on here. Trademarks. And again, we get it. Y'all have trademarks on the term Supergoop. Trademark rights in glow screen. Supergoop also owns a registration for glow screen. So it seems like they got a trademark on glow screen as well. So now you guys have to answer this question. We have glow screen. And do you think glow screen is similar to, or is it likely a confusion with what was Five Below, Mark? Glowy face screen. So Supergoop has glow screen, it seems like, protected via a trademark. However, Five Below is using glowy face screen. I don't know, man. I just think I guess you can make a case for it, but I think it probably passes the sniff test for me as well, as even with the trademark of glow screen. Let's see what it is that they're trying to say that Five Below has done. On information to believe, defendant Five Below is a national retailer. Okay, we already know that. On information to believe. You got the website. So it seems like they commissioned World LLC to manufacture. So it seems like World LLC is a manufacturer of the product. And the alternative on information to believe, Five Below intentionally induced. So they're seeming like they're strong, aren't them boys? And again, man, this is essentially what it comes down to. To the left is Supergoop. To the right is Five Below sunscreen product. Glowy face screen. That Sugar Girl. Seems like Sugar Girl is a trademark name. We're not going to get off into that, but I think that's a trademark name. So you got hot body screen. You got glow screen body. Again, I just think those are different. They appear different. It's in a brown heart. Glow screen body is not in a brown heart. You got Supergoop, Sugar Girl. Clearly, those are different. You're not going to convince me that somebody using a white bottle and a yellow top is committing trade dress infringement. You're just not going to get me with that. And then it's pretty standard in the industry to have an SPF number at the bottom of the product. Again, I have my daughter's product is Sunbum, and they have the SPF number 50 that's below the name. So again, you guys are going to miss me with it. Now they do, again, the bottles look similar. It's a white bottle with a yellow top. And even the yellow top, this is more orange in Five Below's case. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And then you got a stick. It's hard to tell what that says. This says with Supergoop, it says unseen sunscreen stick. This one is I'm not sure what this says. I mean, it looks similar for sure. Is it confusingly similar? I don't think it's confusingly similar. They look, I would have probably agreed with you, Brandon. They look different enough to me. And again, the standard is not, is it similar? I would say, yeah, these look similar when you just look at them, but is it confusingly similar? Would you look at these products to the right that are at Five Below and say that this is a Supergoop product? That, if the answer to that question is yes, then it's trademark or trade dress infringement. If it's no, then it's not. Similarity between the infringing trade dress mark, Supergirl logo, trade, for example, the stylized Sugar Girl mark. I would agree with you. It seems like they're trying to kind of make their case for it here in paragraph 62, 63, and 64. And I probably think I've had enough of Supergoop in this one. Again, as I kind of wrap it up for today, and please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, as well as hit that subscribe button to be a part of the IP community. Understand the difference between competition and infringement. Hey, we are built here in the U.S. on competition. I love to see two brands or multiple brands going at it to see who's going to rise. I think what they say, the cream rises to the top to see who's going to rise to the top. I'm all for that. However, when you start to get to the infringement, whether trademark infringement, patent infringement, copyright infringement, now you're cheating. And I think these illustrations that we've kind of talked about today, whether it's with Seattle Strong, the coffee company, whether it's with Supergoop, I think it was another one in there. These are, in my opinion, examples of just good old competition that is trying to be dressed up as infringement. To the extent that you're a business owner and you're protecting your intellectual property, do not. And again, I had a case I just told you guys earlier, a gentleman who I interviewed like 6, 7 months ago on this platform. He hit me up because somebody took his product that he was making a ton of money. This guy was making hundreds of thousands of dollars selling this product on Amazon. And he was back and forth with the guy. And ultimately, the guy took his product down, which, in my opinion, I thought was a BS claim. Now he's reached out to me to say, hey, can I represent him to get his product back up on Amazon? And I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. So I want to let you guys know that it's a difference between just good old competition and somebody infringing your intellectual property. And make sure, hopefully this live was a good illustration of the difference between the two. I think what Supergoop has done, again, shouts out to them for having a company that's been around for 20 years, that built the brand, they expanded the brand, they're in skincare now, they're in different things, cosmetics. They've done some wonderful things. But I think this Five Below product, Sugar Girl, yes, it looks similar. Is it confusingly similar? In my opinion, that's a stretch. It seems like, according to others, such as Brandon, hey, he says no. He says they look different to me. I would probably agree with them on that. So hopefully you guys understand, hey, just because you got IP, just because you got that business, if somebody tries to kind of send you a cease and desist letter, do not be afraid. Just understand this is a part of business, and just maybe is just good old competition, or in some cases it could be okay. Somebody crossed the line. And in this case, with some of these examples, some of these businesses, some of these lawsuits that we talked about today on this live, I just think it was good old competition. That's why I named this live "Good Old Competition." Again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Please hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Please hit that subscribe button. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the 4th of July. Again, I have these shirts, Peace, Love, Intellectual Property. Hey, go check them out. The link is in the description section. And I wear these things everywhere. And the good thing about these shirts is people are going to come up to you and ask you, what do you know about intellectual property? To the extent that you have a business, some IP, you can talk to them about what you do, what product you offer, what service you offer. And it's a good kind of a good way to start up a conversation, strike a conversation on what it is that you're doing without having to go up to everybody and say, hey, passing out cards, essentially cold calling, trying to pass out cards, letting people know what you do. These shirts are going to be the conversation starter for you. Peace, Love, Intellectual Property. So definitely go check those out. The link to the shirts is in the description section. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's live. I'm glad I was able to go live today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next week with another one. You guys take care. And as always, protect that intellectual property. Peace.